5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What up, what up? It's your boy Levi Londole, professional basketball athlete, and I'm currently tuned in to Art and Hoops podcast.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Art and Hoops. I am your host, Emanuela, M for short. Welcome to episode 7 of Art and Hoops. Thank you so much for those of you who are still around. I do have to apologize. It's been a while since my last episode. I thought that I would be able to get it done right after the month of October. But, you know, sometimes you try to plan life and stuff happens that is out of your control. So, and here we are a full month later after that. But rest easy as this episode has a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about since a lot has been happening. And I have a very special guest, Levi Londole. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. For putting in the time to answer all of my questions. So I'm going to be playing them throughout the episode. Me and Levi, we talked a lot about the culture in Montreal of basketball, and now he's going to go play overseas. And so it's a very inspiring story. Let's hear a little bit how he got to where he is now, playing pro hoops, and we'll dive into the episode after that.
So my journey to basketball began early. When I was about 10, 11 years old, I used to watch my older siblings play high school in inner city at DJ Sports. And being the youngest in the family, of course, my sister and my brother had a lot of influence on me, when it came to sports, hobbies, music tastes, and other interests that we had in common. But basketball is something that really stuck to me. And from there, I learned the fundamentals of the game, and fast forward to high school, 7th grade all the way to 9th grade, I started to get a feel of the game, playing against different teams, different opponents. And the competition wasn't high at the time. We used to crush teams by like 20, 25 points. And the game was pretty much easy to me. And that changed the summer after 9th grade when I met Igor Regema. Shout out to Igor, he's the one that put me on the map. And basically, he invited me to try out for this AAU team called QC United. And mind you, at the time, I'm 15 years old, 6'4", 6'5" already, and I was pretty confident in myself. And I remember like it was yesterday, I walked in the gym, and I looked around me, and I'm like, yo, who the hell are those guys? Like, those guys were like same height as me. Their game was more polished. Their skills were more refined. Like everything was just better, and it humbled me. But it encouraged me to get better at this game, because amongst all of those players, I was still picked to be a part of that U15 squad. So it opened my eyes, and I realized I could take this ball game seriously. And after that, I spent the year at Jean Mons. My final year of high school, I went to Saint Jean-Baptiste, and that was a wrap for high school. Moving on to CEGEP, I went to Alma. That was a different route for me. When you're from Montreal, usually you go to Vanier or Champlain, Dawson, or Montmorency. But I decided to go somewhere else because Igor at the time had a project that he wanted to run with one of his friends, and the goal was to take a group of guys to go somewhere else far from Montreal and focus on ball and school only. And it actually worked. It was kind of like a prep school, but in a CEGEP format. And like if you went to Alma or Thetford, like if you know, like shout out to all the guys that went there. We had Chris Boucher that plays for the Toronto Raptors, Quincy Guerrier that plays for the 905 team, Nikki Designan, who's like one of the best players I've ever seen play. Mambi Diawara, Narcisse Kalamba, like those two guys, I also played with them at Montreal Toundra. You had Alain Louis, who plays for the Montreal Alliance, Kessie Norezias, who is now an assistant coach for the Alliance of Montreal. And yeah, just to name a few guys that played with me at Alma and Thetford. And we also had coaches that molded us, that showed us the blueprint. I mean, on how to have a good attitude and just play through challenges and adversity, like Ibrahim Apia, Ahmed Mampuya, and just a couple names, like a couple coaches that really shared their knowledge with us. And yeah, that was my journey to Alma and Thetford. I spent 2 years junior college after that, and then I came back in Canada. I went to University of McGill, and playing for Coach De Vera at McGill really changed my perspective. Like, he really showed me how to play the game, playing off of reads, just knowing different schemes defensively, offensively. Like, he was a tough coach, to play for, because he expected you to respect everything that was on the game plan. And my first year was kind of rocky, but I still managed to understand the game like a few years after, and it really helped me for my pro career after. How did I end up playing with Toundra? Pretty simple. You know what to say in life, it's all about connections. And Juan Mendez, the founder of Montreal Toundra, was once my assistant coach at McGill University. And our relationship go way back, man. Like, he pushed me through the workouts. He helped me to grow a kill instinct. Like, he wanted me to be ferocious on the court, dunk on anybody I could, and that pretty much helped me. And that year at McGill, he spoke to me about a pro team that he wanted to start in Montreal. And obviously I wanted to play pro, I just didn't know where. And after my McGill career, I went to play in France for a year. And when I came back from France, that's when the Toundra season started. And yeah, it was a wrap from there.
Thank you so much, Levi, for sharing your part of your story. I love to hear it. I hope the kids can listen to that too and take example from your hard work and dedication to the sport. So let's see, end of November. Last time we talked, I still didn't do Inktober. Now that's over. I just put away my basketball net for the season. Winter should be coming soon. Because, in Canada, we are not safe from our winters. So we'll see what this year will bring us. So this episode, what I want to talk about is how I was able to do Inktober. I was able to attend the Raptors Wizard games when they came to Montreal, and I attended the event of the Maison NBA. They came here in the Old Port. So let's dive into it. Inktober, crazy challenge. I love to do it. I'm gonna have to reconsider if I do it next year as well. But why I like to do it is very simple. No one forces me to do it. I don't get anything from doing it. It's really just like as a personal challenge. I think I talked about that last time. But why I like to do it is I think I can easily, when I was talking to Levi, I think that he and I, and with a lot of hoopers, we want to get into this mindset where me, Inktober, is like that time where I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym and really work hard on my craft because I need to get better after that. Inktober, it's been since 2016 that I'm doing it, if I'm not mistaken. So at first it was excruciating. Sometimes I would end doing my daily drawing like at 11 or midnight at night, but I needed to do it, because I wanted to post it and be done with it and say that I've completed something. So what that gave me over time is like the expectations of that roller coaster, so I know that like every year I'm expecting October to come, and it's going to be my hardest working month on a personal level, so I'm gonna sit down every day, find something to do, to draw with the word that it's been giving me. This year was a challenge because the theme was really weird, with a lot of like hiking and mountain stuff and whatever. I was able to find ways to make it fit into sports that I wanted to, so I think a lot of people were writing to me about that they were very impressed with what I did with some of the words, so thank you. But yeah, so for me, like now it became like an expectation to like that's gonna be a hard month for me because first, like I was talking about on my latest episode, the summer is always my least busy time, so I get less contracts, everyone's on vacation, sports organizations are also on vacation, so I mean, me too, I take some time off, and because I know I set my expectations to the type of work that I have to do, I know that I can work towards October for that. So what it does is that every day that I sit down and that I draw, even though that it's difficult, I don't want to give up, right? Because what it's doing is that I'm practicing. Every day I'm learning maybe something new without me realizing it, right? Because I'm repeating my habits, I'm repeating my movements, I'm also exercising work ethic, right? Like there's no one sitting next to me every morning telling me to wake up and telling me, yo, go draw. It's Inktober. No one's gonna do that. So it's really up to me to find the motivation to sit down and do it every day. And I love that, because at the end of the month, it's like, I'm crazy tired. I need to take at least 2 weeks break for drawing, but it is so rewarding because I can feel that like I've gotten a little bit better, even if it's like 30 drawings and it seems like a lot. On hindsight, when I look at it and I'm like, at the end of it, it's like, wow, it's over, but what I look at it is that in the end, am I at least a little bit better? Am I 1% better than I was like before the month or yesterday or last year? So if the answer is yes, I'm happy, right? I always look at my old Inktober's and I compare. Never to other people, but always to myself. I like to look at my progress and it keeps me motivated, So I love doing that. I love doing Inktober. I'm happy it's over though. And I'm happy that you guys were very engaged in my posts when I was posting them. So thank you for those of you who supported me on Instagram while doing the challenge. It is not easy, but in the end, I'm very happy how it turned out. So that was for the month of October. Speaking also of the month of October, that's obviously one of those events that I attended to. So the Raptors came to Montreal for a preseason game. They played against the Wizards. Super fun game. I went to see it. I mean, obviously the Raptors are still in rebuild mode, so they have a very young core. But Scotty Barnes didn't play. Emmanuel Quickly didn't play. I think IQ was injured and Scotty too. He was, I think they were not taking chances on making them play because they had some light injuries before the season. Nonetheless, I still enjoyed watching the game. I got to see Scotty Barnes do some workouts on the court before the game started. So at least that was that. I see a lot of kids. There was like a lot of kids lining up to ask for his autograph, and then he came to sign a lot of the stuff for them, so that was really cute to see. I love that. I also got to see the new players that we have on our rosters, like Fernando, like Baji, Mitchell. So I know the Raptors are bad right now, like obviously they're in rebuilding mode, but I loved to see them in person. Like I think they have so much energy, and they can be a very explosive team once they get all healthy and maybe they have their stuff figured out, so but so far I'm loving to I love to see what I'm seeing. Before the game, there was the whole weekend crew collective held an event called Maison NBA. It was like a big space where they have it's like a big coffee shop in an old building in Montreal Old Port, near the Old Port. They sectioned the whole thing, and they had made little rooms for like the Mitchell and Ness. Shout out to Costa, who was there with from Accents. I got to talk to him. I got to see the type of services that he does with sneaker cleaning, and got to just seeing the people that are involved in the basketball community in Montreal at that event. That was crazy. That was so cool. Ballerway was there. Maxime Pepaquet was there also, that he did my interview for Planet Basket. I also was able to meet Alain from Basket Mag. That's like a publication, like an indie publication for basketball magazine that's like about basketball culture. So honestly, it's and the event itself didn't have anything crazy besides the Q&A with Vince Carter and some of the Wizards players that came. But the event itself was great because I think a lot of people wanted to go there to assemble with the basketball community in Montreal. You know, we don't have an NBA team, we have some pro teams, we have college teams, you know, so I think I've seen the rise of basketball, and I see more and more people showing up to these things, and I think it's important to show that we can show up. I even saw a lot of the people that were at the Toundra games with the kids, and they recognized me because we talked at Comic-Con, or because, you know, they saw me at the games, because I used to go to every games. So that was really cool. Love to have stuff like that here in Montreal. There needs to be more of it. I think more and more people are more vocal to the fact that they want more pro teams in the city, and I think that we're capable of showing that we deserve those teams. So yeah, that was that. Speaking of Toundra, so this is the sad part of the podcast. I don't want to dwell too much on it. So the Toundra season was supposed to start their third season the end of November. Unfortunately, the day before the training camp, the season was pushed to a halt. They had to postpone it, put a pause in it until next season. I think it was some contract stuff. I'm not entirely sure. I spoke to the founder, Juan Mendez. I know that he works really, really hard. Him and Raleigh, they work really hard to been able to put that team together, to make activities, awareness for the team throughout the year. So I'm showing them my support and being present if they need anything. I hope that it's a temporary halt and we'll see our team come back. Because I mean, what it does is that, like, the repercussions are actually pretty big, you know, like there's a lot of people like me who were counting on attending those games, maybe like selling their pictures because they're photographs, maybe reporters they needed to, you know, like interview, you know, it just creates like a lot of like a void now for a lot of those people who were waiting to work around that. But I think the main thing now is that let's just focus on the year after. I've been talking to a lot of creatives in the basketball culture. We're trying to find new ways to keep the basketball culture alive. So we don't have to only wait for the Alliance to come back to play in the summer. So, you know, I'm sure that there's ways to do it. There's a lot of people stepping up to create events and stuff like that. There's a few things that I can't talk about yet, but I probably will be able to next episode. So let's put a pin on that. So yeah, that sums up pretty well my month of October. So now back to Levi. So when I was talking to Levi, the reason why I invited him over for this episode is that I saw where he just signed a contract to go play in Congo, which is great. Just is great. I was honestly super impressed that he was able to get there. So I've asked him a few things about if he ever played overseas, how he finds like the differences culturally outside of Montreal with basketball. Is it the same here and elsewhere? I was really interested to see his point of views on that. So let's hear him out.
When you come from Montreal, when you grow up in that city, you naturally and instantly have a feeling of being proud to be from that area. When we think of Canada, you think of Vancouver, you think of Toronto, but Montreal is unique on its own. We have everything in here. We have like touristically, you have a lot of activities to do, and it's diversified culturally, like for people from everywhere in the world to live in the city. And yeah, that's why everywhere I go, even if it's on anywhere, like on a global stage, I rep my city. Like they ask me where you from, I say Montreal, MTL, real city, you know. I think the fact that I've already played a season overseas in France prepared me for this opportunity, because spending time away from home for so long, you know, you're alone. It's a different culture, different style of play. You know, everything is almost different. It allows you to grow, and it allows you to really learn about yourself, who you are. Whether it's on the court or off the court, it really makes you see life in a different perspective. But playing here in Congo is something that I was already looking forward to. You know, maybe playing for the national team or playing in the league here. And now that I have the opportunity, it's a blessing, honestly. Both of my parents are Congolese, of course, and you know, it's a fun thing to get to see the competition here, to see how it is, how it differs from Montreal. Because in Montreal, I'd say that you know, everybody is good, everybody's skilled, everybody knows how to play the game, but we play with less aggressivity. Like here, people are way more aggressive. Like, people play with so much like passion, but it's like, for example, you know, if you call a foul, you know it's a foul. But here, they don't call fouls. Like, they do not call, like, it could be a flagrant foul depending on like who you play. And even like, okay, say like me, I'm from Canada. Like, when they see me, they know I'm not from Congo. They know I grew up somewhere else, just by, you know, the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I play, like everything. They just know, like, they can just sense it. So to show you respect, that's how they play with you. Like, they give you like the crazy amount of fouls, and the refs don't call nothing. And like, even the crowd, like, they go crazy, but like nobody calls nothing. And yeah, it's actually something that prepares me to play in the league. In terms of culture, there are lots of similarities. First of all, the fans are highly engaged. They cheer loudly, and even after games, they wait for you to sign autographs, whether it's on a shoe, on a sports gear, on a school bag, you know, anything just to get involved and connected with the players. Now, the only difference is the language barrier. All my life, I've been playing in teams speaking in French or English, but here they speak Lingala. It's the only language that I understand, that I fully understand, and that I speak a little bit. Other than that, they speak Swahili, sub-languages coming from different tribes, and I have no clue what they're saying sometimes. For instance, throughout drills, a coach might stop a play and explain something in another language, and I have to look at one of my teammates like, yo, what did he just say? Like, what adjustment do we have to make on that play? And that has been my challenge so far, and I'm trying to adjust to that. Now, off the court, the only adjustment that I have to fight with is the weather. The weather here is killing me, man. Like, I'm used to 4 seasons. Obviously, I'm born somewhere where like the weather is ups. There's a lot of ups and downs, but here there's only 2 seasons: la saison sèche and la saison pluie. I didn't know how to say it in English, so I had to mention it in French. But yeah, like both seasons are pretty much the same in terms of weather, like 35, 40 degrees. But when it's la saison pluie, it gets even hotter. And I always have to make sure I hydrate on a regular. I have to carry a towel with me, and you have to be ready to shower multiple times a day because you can easily get drenched, and it puts a toll on your body. Like you easily get tired, and yeah, that's pretty much the adjustment that I have to make off the court.
That's crazy. I never thought that there would be so many adjustments for one person to make just playing the same sport elsewhere. I mean, you just see that sometimes, like, the more you travel and the more you broaden your horizon, right? It reminded me, like, what he was saying with the temperature and everything when a few months ago, I went to Italy for a couple of weeks for a family matter, and I brought all my work with me, and I was like, yeah, I'm no problem. I'm gonna keep working because of how hot the weather is over there. How humid, that there's no wind, and we get like winds and currents from Africa because in Sicily we're so close to it. I was not able to almost do anything. It was insane. So I understand the like, and plus you're doing something like physically demanding. That's crazy. I can only imagine how much more work you have to put into it. Good luck for your season in Congo. I'll make sure to drop a link if there's a way that we can follow you. Otherwise, I'll support you through Instagram like I've been doing with the Toundra. That's great. I love to hear stuff like that. And then with Levi, we talked about like more of the work ethic and the mindset that you have to have for that type of work. And it's crazy because like I love to have those conversations, right? Because like the more I talk to ball players, and the more I realize that them too, they do think that art and basketball go hand in hand. So that's great. Like for them, like the way that they talk about like them perfecting their craft, it's the same way that I'll talk about perfecting my craft, you know. So I love that. It just makes me feel like there's connections to be made where we don't think so sometimes. We don't think of looking in those places. So I love that, and I love connecting with players because of that. It pushes me forward. I find inspiration in watching them and you know, in the greater pursuit of the game. And I hope that I can do the same. I hope I'm inspiring them as well by opening up these conversations, and hopefully there's kids or athletes, young athletes that are listening to this, and they can see, you know, there's, you know, the more we talk, the more you know, and I love that. That's why I'm doing this podcast. So let's hear a little bit more about Levi, because I wanna keep talking about that. I want to keep talking about the work ethic that people have to put in. You know, especially sometimes with Instagram, a lot of people, they don't see the amount of work that someone needs to put behind their craft that is not seen, you know, to get to where they want to be. So I want to hear a little more about Levi and what he thinks about basketball and art going together, and how he sees it fitting in his craft and routine.
You know, some hoopers have it naturally. They just know how to play with pace, go with the flow and natural instincts, while others have to perfect their craft before feeling comfortable enough to play off of instincts. And me, the way I approach the game is pretty simple. Like, I know my role on the floor as a stretch four, and I don't have to do too much. You know, maybe make open threes, play two-man game, make cuts, set screens, and just let the game come to me and operate with it. And yeah, like the same way an artist uses different tools to create a piece, well, basketball players make creative choices during the game. Like for instance, depending on what the defense is giving you, like you can make a series of combo dribbles to get past your defender. Maybe a no-look pass to your teammate when you drive down the lane, and yeah, just like a change of speed, change of direction. All of this combined together, like all these choices can be akin to the same choices an artist makes when mixing colors or selecting materials to create a whole piece. And yeah, like the combination of skill and instinct in making these decisions creates a moment of beauty. And yeah, like the game itself can be seen as a dynamic, ever-evolving work of art. Like nowadays in the NBA, you have guys like Wemby, Chet Holmgren, KD, like just tall guys that have guard skills, and it's just getting better and better, and that's how I can see it as art. It's simple. If you want to get better, you have to go to the gym. There's no secret. There's no magic. If you want to get better, motivation could be there for like a few days, but after a week, your muscles are sore. You're mentally tired. Like you don't want to get up and go grind. Like that's when you need to push through, because that's when you have resilience within your mind, and the habit comes in of just working out, because motivation is going to be there, but it's going to be gone, and it's just a roller coaster. It comes, it goes, it comes and goes. And yeah, like you just have to find a pace and find a habit with that, because think about it. Putting the time in a gym is not eternal. Like you have a certain amount, like you have a limited amount of hours per day to work on yourself, to work on your skills, because if you don't do it, the next contract that you want, someone else will take it. That same person that did the extra work that you were supposed to do is gonna take it. And that's why you need to be in the gym. Like you need to focus on what you need to work on, and that's what I do. Thank God I'm naturally like willing to go to the gym and work out even by myself, because obviously at a pro level, like you know what you have to do, like you know your role, you know what you need to work on, and that's pretty much it. And like art, I know someone who played basketball for years, and he transferred his talents into art. And shout out to Dino. He creates art, and he's been doing that for years now. He stopped playing basketball, and he told himself, okay, what can I do that like the same work that I've put in for basketball, like how can I translate that to something else? And that's when he became doing art, and he just practiced it for years, and his craft is getting better and better like each year. What I like about the game is that it builds character on and off the court. You learn how to cope with mistakes, injuries, failures, setbacks. And in the beginning, it was hard for me, man. Like, I hated losing. I was a big, sore loser. And I would cuss out, yell out after games. And over the years, obviously, you grow up. You start thinking outside the box. You watch film. You tweak some details about your game. Like, you make adjustments. And you do anything in your power to become a better player and a better asset for your team. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Like, things don't always go in your favor. You might get hurt, and you gotta sit out for like 6-8 months, and then doubt start kicking in. Like, you start thinking negatively about yourself. Oh, am I ever gonna be the player that I thought I was gonna be? You start getting nervous and anxious. But then that's when your character builds, man. Like, that's when you get stronger mentally. And I remember in France, I was out for a month. I was hurt, and I thought they were gonna send me back home. And I started stressing. Mind you, like I was alone in my apartment. I was dismantled like for weeks. But then I had to get back on my feet and just make it work. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Levi, for taking the time to answer my questions, talk about your journey, your life, your career, your love of the game. I love to have those conversations. I love to see the connection with art and basketball. Shout out to Dino because I do follow him. I didn't know that he was a professional hooper, so that's even more cooler. Go give him a follow, Dino Creates. One name that keeps popping up is really Juan Mendez. Every time that I talk to hoopers who had the chance to even have their paths crossed by Juan, they always shout out to him. So I mean, obviously I think Juan Mendez is a big part to why we have like another pro team in Montreal. Guys, let's hold the fort for the 2024-25 season, since there won't be Toundra basketball, but let's show love and respect to Juan and Rowley. I know that they're working hard to bring us a more pro basketball when possible, but let's not despair in the meantime. So yeah, Levi, I couldn't have said it better myself. Everything you said, I think, struck a chord with me. You talked about the motivation. it doesn't last and you can't rely on it. I couldn't agree more. I think it's something that I discovered while working as a freelance artist, is that you can't just always wait for motivation to strike you and just like work with that doesn't work. It won't last. It comes and goes. You said it pretty well. It's the same thing whether or not you feel like going to the gym. You can't just wait for your moment of inspiration to come, because it might not come, or it might be fleeting. So just do it. I think I say this every episode. Just do something. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just go ahead and do it. But you have to work for it. Practice whatever you're doing, that you're gonna get better, and the rest is really up to you. I know that I said that I wouldn't talk about the Toundra season anymore, but one thing that I kind of forgot to mention was like going forward for my interviews is gonna be just like a little bit harder to find and make connections with new players that I don't already know, because last year a lot of the pro players that I was able to meet, it's because they came to play at home, and they were the traveling team, and I was able to talk to them, meet them, and I mean, of course, like you foster a relationship, like a media relationship with them, like for the whole year, so it gives me a better way to see them play and know who I want to have on the podcast. Now it's going to be a little different. I won't have the opportunity to do that until the Alliance starts back again. Until then, I'm seeing a few university games. So if ever you're at the Concordia Stinger games, I think I'm gonna go to a few because I know Dwight Walton coaches there. I'm friends with one of their main photographers, Ruben Polanski, who takes amazing pictures. I think he's been going to a lot of the AmeriCup games for Canada basketball in Saskatoon, so I think he's back. Anyways, follow my Instagram to see what I'm up to, but I'll for sure be attending a few of those games. And in the meantime, I promise that I won't wait almost 2 full months before the next episode. It'll be done a lot quicker. I did say in the past that I wanted to incorporate artists. That's still going on. I really truly did not have the time to make that happen. There's one artist that's waiting for me, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him for the next episode, and so we can do like an artist round table, and I'll give my hooper friends maybe a break, since I have to have a plan of action for the next interviews. In the meantime, I don't know, maybe you've noticed, but I have made a rebrand on the podcast visually. I've created a new YouTube channel, so it's at Art and Hoops /YouTube, so it's very simple. It's the same handle everywhere. Go give it a follow, like it, subscribe, please. It's gonna help me tremendously. It takes a ton of effort to do this podcast, but I wanted to incorporate a lot of my aesthetics and drawings to it, so that's why I decided to create the YouTube channel, so I could incorporate a lot of the drawings that I want to do for my guests, because I love doing that. And because again, like, what's basketball without art? For me, it just makes sense to just have the two things together. So go like, go subscribe. I hope you like the new rebrand. Comment on the comment section if ever there's anything that you would like me to talk about. Truly appreciate your support, guys. Thanks for still listening. Share the podcast. I am not done doing it, even though sometimes it takes me a little longer to do it. It just gets busy, so it just takes effort to produce it. It's more than I thought, but I enjoy doing it, so I want to keep doing it. So thank you, all of you, for your support. And no catchphrase yet, but Excelsior. Beep boop. Bye bye.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Tranquility Base here.